Hello everyone, I welcome you all for overview of SAP RE-FX Flexible Real Estate Management. It is one of the modules in SAP suite. SAP RE-FX has been involved over the years from its base module SAP RE Classic to SAP RE-FX and now to SAP RE-FX along with IFRS 16 functionalities. Now this session is useful for those who want to make career in SAP real estate, those who are in SAP professions at this moment, or those who want to get into SAP profession. SAP real estate is the module itself is like a real-time scenario, so it's easy to learn. Now before we move to REFX, let us understand the topics we are going to cover today. So topics are, first we are going to cover what is a typical process of a lease in a real world, what we really do. Second is SAP REFX contract processes, so how the real world processes are similar that we follow in SAP REFX. Then functionalities that are covered under REFX along with the processes and integrations. The benefits of using SAP REFX over other products. Industries using SAP REFX to understand the market reach, and finally some of the case studies where how SAP REFX is used in various different industries. Okay, so let's move ahead. So something about me, my name is Steve. I've been working in SAP real estate for around 10 years. I have experience in various geographies like Middle East and then Asia and in North America and North America both. I have done around 10 plus implementations of SAP, right from RE Classic to IFRS 16. Okay, so let us start with typical lease process in real world. Okay, so what we do generally, okay, let us assume Steve is a person who is looking to rent a house, and now typically my requirement is I need a 2-bedroom house, around 1,000 square feet and all these things. And then I have some options to do inquiry, right? I do inquiry with my friends and family, and second I do inquiry with the brokers in that area, and I do inquiry on the online portals like property websites. So in this example we will consider property website. So the Steve has made an inquiry on a property website. So while entering his requirements, he found one unit which is fulfilling his requirement, like 2-bedroom house along with 1,000 square feet of area, which has good fittings and fixtures and everything, and he expresses interest. So as soon as Steve expressed the interest, it goes to the landlord. Now the next step is landlord provide an offer to Steve, and offer will have all the details, how much would be the rental, what will be the security deposit, what will be the terms and conditions and penalties and everything in the offer. So assume that landlord is saying the rent for the 2-bedroom house is around, let us say, 10,000 a month, but Steve feels it's very high for that particular area and vicinity. His counter, he wants to negotiate. So next stage it goes into negotiation. Now let us say after a couple of meetings and negotiations, landlord finally agrees to give that particular house on a lesser amount, and they agree and they sign the offer, and which get into a contract. Now contract is a legal document and the binding. Okay, so once contract is signed, Steve will be paying the deposit along with the advance rental, and then landlord will hand over the key. So once he got the key, then he will move in to the new house along with the family. And next is lease processing, where there will be a regular payments on the lease, there might be a renewal, termination, and adjustment of rental and all these activities. Okay, so this is a typical cycle in a real world. Now when we come to SAP real estate or SAP REFX, it is quite similar. So to start a contract in the system, we need two things. First of all, we need RE master data. So we need a building in the system, we need all those flats and the floors and everything. And second is to create any contract, we need another party, that is either a tenant or a landlord. So we assume that in our system there is RE master data. So there is one society has 4 buildings, every building has 10 floors, and every floor there are, let's say, 5 flats. Now the first thing is I got an inquiry from applicant or prospect, because inquiry cannot be from the tenant, so initially he is a prospect. Now from that inquiry it goes into the offer to contract. Then once contract is created, we can print the contract, we can sign both the parties, and we can upload the contract into the system. We can email all the contract, invoice, reminder, notices, everything to the tenant or landlord, and then we go to the contract processing. So in contract processing there are 3 steps. One is contracts processing, which generally happens on a monthly basis, but it really depends on company's own policies. So the first is rental posting of a contract. So let's say if the frequency is on a monthly basis, then there will be a monthly posting of this rental to the finance, generation of invoices, sending to the tenant, collection of rental. Then if it is a commercial lease, there will be some sales-based settlement, and there are service charges, for example power or water supply or something, which is provided for the entire mall. Then we have revenue and expense recognition, and lastly we have IFRS 16 treatment if it is coming under lease in type of a contract. Second is correspondence. We can print, we can email all the invoices, reminders, alerts, and other documents to basically it's a communication between the company and the tenant or the landlord. Now second part is subsequent measurement. So these are the additional transactions once the lease is created. So first is renewal of contract. So again we can have renewal automatic or manual. Then adjustment of contract. So adjustment of contract could be on a multiple level. So there is a fixed adjustment, increase or decrease in rental. There is a percentage increase and decrease in rental every year if it is a long-term contract. And also there is a possibility of index-based rent based on a particular area. Now then there is a termination of contract. So expiry of the contract and early termination of the contract and all such transactions. So what happened in real life lease scenario is the same thing that's going to happen in SAP real estate, and this is where we say it's easy to learn, because we can visualize what we do in real life. That's what we are doing in SAP RE-FX. Okay, so let's move ahead. Now next is some information. Okay, so SAP RE-FX stands for Flexible Real Estate Management, and this product has been evolved over a period of time. Now SAP has released its first real estate product as SAP RE Classics or Real Estate Classic. Then they come up with second version with architectural view and so many other functionalities into SAP RE-FX. Now recently we have SAP RE-FX along with IFRS 16 functionalities, which is companies need to be compliant from 1st of January 2019 onwards. Now SAP RE-FX can be used in various industries provided they have leases. Okay. Next is, what functionalities do SAP RE-FX offer? So let's go to the first. So contract management. Okay, so SAP RE-FX is end-to-end lease management system where you can maintain your master data, you can maintain all your leases, all your lease calculations can happen in RE-FX, and all the postings to finance will be done from RE-FX itself. So it's end-to-end solution for real estate management. So in contract management, what kind of contract we can create? So basically 2 types of contracts we have. One is lease out with your tenants, and second is lease in with your landlord or property owner. And then we can maintain the contracts for non RE objects like equipments and vehicles and all under IFRS 16 leases. Also we can have internal leases in the company, in the departments. We have service and maintenance leases with service providers, and then we have security deposit leases which which safeguards the main lease. Secondly, SAP REFX provide another module called as space management, which comprises of three things. One is long-term sitting arrangement, where companies do take seats on rental. It's called as corporate real estate management. Then move planning, and then room reservations. Then third, we have a land use management, which is generally used by government entities, where they have these land registries, parcels, and contracts. Moving further, what are the processes and integrations that we can see as a part of SAP suite? So lease segregations, it really depends on what kind of leases we want to create. So some of the examples are lease out, lease in, then we have IFRS 16 leases, security deposit leases, sub-leases, third-party leases, equipment leases, and service leases. Rent calculations. We have rent calculations, rent processing for lease in and lease out both. We have self-paced rental, where the additional rental is calculated based on the total sales or gross sales of a shop. Service charge settlement, where services are provided by real estate company and then apportionment happen, or the cost is distributed based on the use and size of the unit. Utilities calculation, like I say, it's a part of service charge itself. Common area maintenance, and then cost apportionment. Now, SAP REFX being a part of SAP suite, it has inbuilt seamless integration with finance and controlling, asset accounting, project systems, plant maintenance, DMS, and then it can be connected with external systems, other ERP system as well as property portals, and it can be connected with GIS maps along with AutoCAD designs for a particular building, or let's say real estate property in consideration. Now, what are the benefits of SAP REFX over other products? So first of all, SAP REFX is an end-to-end lease solution, because it will hold your master data, all the calculation, all the financial information leases. Second, now REFX can be used for RE and non-RE businesses as well. So non-RE are the businesses which have leases or operating leases for vehicles and equipments and all these things. Now, SAP REFX has a lease standardization, so you can have standardization of leases in one system. It's the single point of property database and lease processing, single point for finance processing. It reduces administrative costs and precise accounting calculations. It has precise accounting calculations as per the standards. It follows IFRS 16, then IS 17, FASB 13, and other accounting standards. REFX has a real-time integrations with SAP ERP, ECC, and all the enhancements along with S/4HANA. It has a real-time integration with AutoCAD and GIS as well. Can be integrated with third-party website, for example, Property Guru, Country, and all. SAP REFX comes with the standard reports and analytics as well. Now, how big is SAP REFX market? So as we said, SAP REFX is an end-to-end solution, right? Now, from 2019 onwards, REFX can be used for real estate as well as non-real estate companies as well. Now, here are a couple of examples of various industries. Like the first one is residential and commercial real estate. Second is mall and retail space management. Third is franchisee business. For example, we can take McDonald's or Burger King. So they use REFX for the calculation of their royalty. Now, shipping and mining. These two type of industries will use REFX for leasing of their heavy machineries and vehicles and all. Then telecom or banking, they'll be using REFX for leasing of the rental units for their ATMs and branches and telephone towers and all. Then we have service leases, where maintenance services are provided by, let's say, third-party vendors. We can have municipal governments. They'll be using land use management, construction and transport. So in transport, we have advertising spaces in the train and buses on a bus stop and all these things. All the things we find. Now let us see 5 different case studies from 5 different industries. Okay, so let's start with the mall. So retail management, let us assume a mall was looking for an ERP system for rent management of its shops, kiosks, holdings, banners, cost management and distribution of cost over tenants. So basically it's a mall, and mall want to have a lease management system. So their challenge is to get a centralized place for a master data, centralized and standardized process of point of management, single point of contact, single point for consumable services billing, and then to get ERP with integration with other modules. Now, how REFX is used? So mall uses REFX to fulfill above needs, and below is the master data they have used. They have created the fixed dimension units of the shops. Then kiosks, they might have a different dimension, but it changes based on the tenancy requirements. Floor rentals, advertising, banners, etc. Now this mall has 2 types of rental. One is the fixed rental, which they collect on an every month basis, but then they have some percentage rental that should be collected based on the gross monthly sales of the shop. And the mall has apportionment of service charge settlement for the power, utilities, and maintenance. The next is, let's say, franchisee fees. So let's say a franchisee company like McDonald's or KFC or Burger King, and they want to use REFX for periodic billing of franchisee fees. Right? So basically, they don't own any outlet and real estate property. So what they do is they have created master data of all these outlets as a contract object, and then they do their sales-based billing on a monthly basis. So every outlet processes their sales on a regular monthly basis, sent to REFX, and then sales figure are used for calculation of franchisee fees. Telecom, the same way. Shipping, the same way. And then transportation, the same way. Okay. Now, with respect to real estate project timeline, so SAP REFX takes around 4 to 6 plus months, depending on complexity and number of processes to cover. Typically based on development, workflows, notification, and customer reports. SAP REFX along with IFRS 16 goes additional 2 to 3 months. Again, depends on the complexity of the processes and customization required. Okay, so this is an overview of real estate as a module, what we covered in it. Going further, we'll start deep diving into SAP REFX. Stay tuned. See you in the next session.